So, while the hiatus is still going on, I figured let's do a top 10 Once Upon a Time episode video. And thank you so much to BG Sophia who suggested the video idea because it's a really fun idea and I'm really looking forward to discussing several episodes of Once Upon a Time with you guys because I haven't had a chance to really dissect Season 1, Season 2, or Season 3 with you. Season 4 and 5, we've gone on for quite a while, but this episode list will also have a couple episodes from Seasons 1, 2, and 3 on it, which is pretty cool. So let's get right into it. And just a side note, this is just going to be in order from Seasons 1 to Seasons 5. I'm not going to be ranking them least to greatest, which I know a lot of countdowns or top 10s do that, but I like these episodes too much to put them in order, so I'm just going to do it in the order that they came out. So the first episode on this list that I like is, or my number 10 I should say, the pilot. How can you not like the pilot? If you dislike the pilot, then you shouldn't be watching the show. Because to me that doesn't make sense. If you don't like a pilot, there's no reason to go on to episode 2. The pilot is fantastic. We have that introduction with the evil queen. I love the music when she opens the church doors and goes, "Sorry, I'm late." We have Emma and Regina's first interaction, the first hint of Swan Queen. Jennifer Morrison and Lana Parrilla's acting in just the first episode of the show really dragged me into it or brought me into it and made me say, wow, this show is something special. Just the visuals when Regina walked into the church during Snow White's wedding was great. When the curse was enacted, that was really cool as well. This episode in general had a lot of magic into it. It also started off with a very classic scene from Once Upon a Time, or from fairy tales in general, when Snow White wakes up, and then it goes to the what happens after, and it's the evil queen's revenge. I just thought the pilot needs to be on this list, and it really should be number 10 because there's a lot of better episodes, but like I said, these aren't truly ranked, but the pilot is a very special episode, and because of the pilot, I wouldn't be watching the rest of the show. So number 2, or number 9, is The Land Without Magic, the season finale of Season 1. Beautiful, beautiful episode. Maleficent is back. Emma finally believes. The great battle between Emma and Dragon Maleficent was fantastic. Then magic comes to Storybrooke. Rumpelstiltskin and Belle reunite. Henry wakes up from his curse. Regina and Emma go at it in a really fun battle, a really intense battle in a medicine cabinet or a medicine closet. I just really loved that episode. It's so fast-paced, the curse gets broken, and I do know this, many of the actors during Season 1 did not think the curse would have been broken until the end of the series. So they were really shocked themselves when the curse was broken. I just love that episode with Snow White and Prince Charming and Rumpelstiltskin in the flashback, and then seeing Emma versus Maleficent. That was fantastic. That's when the visuals were great. The visuals in episode 1, the visuals in episode 22. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I thoroughly enjoyed The Land Without Magic. It's a great episode, and it definitely has some replay value. If you guys have the DVD or Blu-ray, they have an audio commentary on that. I thoroughly suggest you listen to the audio commentary of the episode. They also, I believe, have it for the pilot as well. They're really fun to listen to, Adam and Eddie. And I believe Jennifer is definitely on The Land Without Magic Blu-ray for the audio commentary, so definitely check that out. So my number 7 on this list, my number 8 on this list, or number 3, would be The Miller's Daughter from Season 2. We get the background information of Cora, that she's the Queen of Hearts. We get Emma, Mary Margaret, and Emma and Mary Margaret, they go back to Storybrooke. Mulan and Aurora stay in the Enchanted Forest because they want to save Philip. Then at the end of that episode, which was like the mid-season finale for Season 2, we see Hook and Cora go to Storybrooke. I loved the battle between Hook and Emma when Hook is, has Emma pretty much on the ground, and he has like that fun line where he says, there's so many other things I would like to be doing with the woman on her back. Then Emma hits him over the head, and just the visuals when Cora was battling Mulan, or when Regina was able to absorb the curse at the well that would have stopped anyone coming through because they were really scared about Cora coming back, which kind of made no sense because Cora was really nice to Regina, and she was sort of nice to Rumpelstiltskin later on, despite the fact she wanted to kill him, but we'll talk about that in a second. So I thoroughly enjoyed The Miller's Daughter. It was the highlight of Season 2A, I guess. Season 2 had some pretty interesting episodes, especially in the beginning, because my last favorite episode of Season 2, which would be number 7 on this list, is The Miller's Daughter. I really liked this episode a lot because it dealt with Cora, it dealt with Rumpelstiltskin. We had some great interactions between Regina and Emma. We had some pretty cool moments with Mary Margaret as well, because this is when Mary Margaret goes on the dark snow path because she's the one who kills Cora, and that gets brought up many times throughout the rest of the series. this episode was really great because Rose McGowan, who played Paige on Charmed, is playing a young witch again, and I very much enjoyed her take as Cora. And I really hated when Cora died because I really liked Cora as a villain, and I'm really looking forward to seeing her in Souls of the Departed when she comes back in season 5B and for the 100th episode. But overall, I thought the backstory of Rumpelstiltskin and Cora was great, and I really wish I got to see a bit more of that because there was this battle that was alluded between the two of them, and we never got to see that. But this episode overall was very, very, very good. And it was also the last episode of season 2 that I liked in general because after that, the Greg and Tamara story arc, I didn't care for at all. So, number 6 on this list would be Witch Hunt. This is when we get the first confrontation between Regina and Zelena back at the Dark Castle. I thoroughly loved that scene because that's when we really get to see Rebecca Mader really play into the Wicked Witch. It's also when Regina and Emma team up because Emma has her memories back and Regina and her are trying to figure out who cursed the town. I really loved season 3B. I thought the Oz arc was fantastic. So I really just loved the interactions between Emma and Regina. If you're seeing a pattern, I very much enjoy the friendship that those two have going on. Lana Parrilla and Jennifer Morrison are my favorite actors on the show, or actresses on the show. So I really enjoy seeing them. And I just really enjoyed the confrontation between Regina and Zelena because it started up a battle that spanned throughout the entire Oz arc, which I very much enjoyed. So, number 5 on this list is Kansas, because Kansas is the final battle of Wicked versus Evil. Now, what was really interesting to me about this episode is everyone was saying that Emma is the one who's going to defeat Zelena. It's Emma. But then in the end, it was Regina because the whole purpose of season 3B was to hype up Wicked versus Evil, and in the end, evil trumped Wicked, or evil turned good, trumped Wicked. And I just really loved Regina when she's being choked by Zelena. She's going, "Don't tell me what I can be," and then she, learns light magic and blasts Zelena, and then Zelena dies at the end of that episode, which I didn't like, but I really liked Selena's backstory with the Witches of Oz and with Dorothy. I just thought that episode was beautifully written and beautifully done. So that is number 5. So number 4 is a Frozen-based episode, A Tale of Two Sisters, the season 4 premiere. Loved it. I loved getting to talk about it back in October of 2014, which is crazy because now it's January of 2016. Loved Georgina Hagg's Elsa. Loved Elizabeth Lail's Anna. I loved how Elsa is terrified of being in Storybrooke, how she's able to freeze, Grumpy's truck. Or just Elsa, going around the town and she's causing that trail of ice. I love the scene when Elsa just leaves the barn from the season 3 finale. That was fantastic. When Elsa conjures the snow monster. And we finally get to see the end of Regina, or the beginning, I should say, of Regina, Marion, and Robin Hood and that love triangle, because a lot of people really hated when Outlaw Queen was sort of killed thanks to Emma at the end of season 3B. But I just really liked The Tale of Two Sisters because the background information that we got with Elsa and Anna was fantastic. I really love 4B, or 4A a lot. I did not like 4B. 4B is not even on this list in honorable mentions. But I just thought The Tale of Two Sisters was great with getting us right into the Frozen arc. And for the next episode, the next episode on this list, which is number 3, would be Smash the Mirror. I loved Smash the Mirror because the one mystery of season 4 that I wanted to see the most was how Elsa got trapped in the urn. In Smash the Mirror, we learned that, and I loved the way it was portrayed. I loved Elizabeth Mitchell as the Snow Queen. She was fantastic. Beautiful. I've said that many times. I loved Elizabeth Mitchell playing the Snow Queen so much. I can only say that. I loved how Smash the Mirror was 2 hours long. We have Emma dealing with her powers, how they're out of control. We have Elsa sort of having the same problem in the past, and Elsa and Anna trying to figure out how to get rid of the Snow Queen, despite the fact that that eventually fails, and we learn about the history of Shattered Sight. I just loved that scene when Elsa gets trapped in the urn because the visuals in that episode was really great. That episode felt like a movie to me. It was 2 hours long. It was right before the AMAs, I believe. It was fantastic. I've watched that episode many times. Smash the Mirror is great. Then that end of it, when they're holding their arms and they see the ribbon and they can't get the ribbon off, and then Ingrid and Rumple had that great confrontation, and then boom! Ingrid casts a spell of Shattered Sight, and it affects all of Storybrooke. So number 2 on this list is Shattered Sight. Shattered Sight, fantastic. Elizabeth Mitchell based. How can you not love an Elizabeth Mitchell based episode? If you're me, you're going to love an Elizabeth Mitchell based episode, and you want Elizabeth Mitchell back in season 4B, or 5B, excuse me. It was fantastic. The backstory of Elizabeth Mitchell and Emma was great. How we finally get to see how Emma and her had this connection. The Snow Queen's sacrifice, beautiful. So beautiful. The confrontation between Regina, Emma, and Charming, or between Regina, Snow, and Charming, I should say, in the jail. That was so funny. When Elsa and Anna, or when Elsa and Emma are just doing things together, like when they're teaming up against Regina, that was great. I would have loved to have seen just a little battle between the Snow Queen and Regina. That's the only part about season 4A I didn't like, or even to see Elsa and Regina go at it for a moment. They could have done that in Smash the Mirror, or Shattered Sight, but that didn't happen. But that's okay. But I would say Shattered Sight was probably the best episode of Once Upon a Time overall. But on this list, I'm just going in order of production, or order of the way they were aired. So number 1 on this list is going to be Broken Heart, the episode when we find out pretty much what happened in Camelot and how they got back to Storybrooke thanks to Hook and his killing of Merlin, and how the Dark Curse is cast. Now, the reason why I really liked this episode was it took place right after birth, and I really wanted this episode to come, and it really made me feel, or excuse me, I should say, this episode gave me exactly what I wanted. I love the interactions between Hook and Emma in Storybrooke. I love their interactions in the Enchanted Forest or in Camelot. And then that scene when Emma, changes Hook's memories, or wipes his memories and wipes everyone else's memories, so no one would know he's the Dark One. And then when the Dark Curse takes over, that score was fantastic. The music of Once Upon a Time is one of my favorite things. Sometimes the best song, I would say, is when Elsa arrived at the end of season 3, and the score when the Dark Curse took over. Those were beautiful scores, and that is why Broken Heart made this list. It's the only episode from season 5 that I could even put on here, because 5 I had some issues with. But I do have one 5 episode for an honorable mention. So I have 5 episodes to do for honorable mentions. And I have a season 3 episode, which is Ariel. I love when we got to see Joanna Garcia play Ariel. That was fantastic. Joanna Garcia is so fun, and her take as Ariel was really great. Just thoroughly enjoyed seeing Joanna Garcia there. Then for another episode to mention is There's No Place Like Home, which is the final episode of season 3. I love that episode quite a bit because that's when Elsa arrived, and I really loved when I just really loved the way that episode went down, because Emma and Hook are trying to right the wrongs that they did thanks to time travel. So There's No Place Like Home was really great, because at the end of the episode we have Emma and Hook, they're kissing. We have Regina and Robin, holding Roland's hand. Then we have Rumple and Belle getting married. Like, it really seemed like it was a season or a series finale. Like, it was perfect. But then we have that Elsa entrance, and it's like, oh wow, the show's far from done. So There's No Place Like Home definitely needed to get a honorable mention on this list. Okay, so I said I have 5 episodes for my honorable mentions, but number 3 is going to be a combination of 3 episodes, because I really did like all these episodes, and they sort of fit one broad story. So it's Rocky Road, Breaking Glass, and Whiteout. I very much enjoyed Whiteout because that was Elsa and Emma's meeting for the first time. I thought it was great. It's also one of the few Jane Espenson episodes I very much enjoyed. I loved Breaking Glass because that's when Elsa and Emma again are teaming up, and that's also when Ingrid captures Elsa, and then we have Regina and Emma team up too to fight Ingrid's monster. And then I very much enjoyed Rocky Road because that's when we see Elizabeth Mitchell get to play the Snow Queen for the first time. Parts of those episodes I didn't really care for, like the Bo Peep flashback in Whiteout, or Emma and Lily's flashback in Breaking Glass, which is why I kind of grouped the 3 of them into one big honorable mention. So that's why it's 1, because there's parts of the episodes I didn't like, but there are parts of the episodes I absolutely loved. So number 3 is 3 episodes. Then for number 4 on this list will be Operation Mongoose Operation Mongoose Part B. I loved that episode because I loved the last half hour of it, where they get out of the book, where Hook gets killed and Emma realizes that she loves him, and then when Emma becomes the Dark One. I thought that scene was probably one of the best scenes in Once Upon a Time history, next to Elsa coming out of the urn. Very much enjoyed that episode a lot. Jared Gilmore, who I really feel did not or is not able to carry a full episode, which is why I didn't really care for part 1. But once we got Lana and we got Emma back, and then we got that final intense scene, I very much enjoyed part B. That episode, it was really great. And last but not least on this list for honorable mentions is The Dark Swan, the season 5 premiere. The reason why this made it onto the list, I've been hyping this up on my channel for a very long time. I was really looking forward to it, and I really did enjoy it because I love seeing the end of the storyline from from Operation Mongoose. I really love seeing how that played out here, and then how it kind of played out in season 5. Granted, I had issues with season 5, like I said a couple times, but I just enjoyed seeing Emma come out of that goo, seeing Merida for the first time in this episode, and then getting that hint of King Arthur. But after later episodes, I didn't really care for King Arthur. But when I saw the Dark Swan, I very much liked King Arthur. I thought that was a really great episode. I loved how we got to see Imp Rumple back, Emma dealing with the powers, great Captain Swan moments, even a couple great Swan Queen moments in that episode. And I also really loved the end of the episode where you're thinking, why did Emma go evil? Because at that point, we did think she was going to stay evil. So that is my list. Those are my episodes. Please share your top 10 episodes in the comments below, or your honorable mentions, or would you rank these episodes in different ways. Like I said, these are not ranked, they're more so aired, they're more so listed in the order that they came out. So thank you so much for checking out my list, and I hope to talk to you all about Once Upon a Time in this video and in a couple more videos, especially when we get the Oscar trailer in February. So thank you for tuning in, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye guys.